Hi there, it's Scott. Welcome to Scott Stuff for January 4th, 2009. And today I'm going to talk about a new board game by Fantasy Flight Games called Android. Now, I had a chance to play this yesterday. We played it with 3 people. All of us had read the rule book before, and it took about 4 hours to play. And so I'm going to explain a little bit about the game and tell you what I felt about it. Now, Android is a science fiction murder mystery game. In the game, you're each playing an investigator, and there's been a murder, and your job is to figure out who done it. When you start the game, you're going to be given some hunches. You're going to be given a hunch that one suspect is guilty and a hunch that one suspect is innocent. And during the game, what you want to try and do is find evidence, pile it on the person you think is guilty, and find evidence that will save the person that you think is innocent. So that at the end of the game, when you reveal it, the person that's got the most evidence piled on them is the one that's found guilty. And if that's the person you had the hunch about, you're going to get a lot of points. Now, there's other ways to get points in the game, too. So what you're going to do is travel around this map, and you're going to be able to pick up favors, and you'll pick political favors and society favors and things like that. And at the end of the game, those favors may be worth points. The way those favors are worth points is a puzzle that's on the board. And what's going to go on during the game, and they call it a puzzle, but in reality, it's just a series of tubes. So you're going to get, like in Carcassonne, pieces with little connectors on them. And what you're going to do is you're going to play these pieces and connect them into each other. And what will happen is, in this puzzle area, there's a centerpiece, and it's a 5x5 square, and then around the perimeter are various bonus victory points that can be triggered at the end of the game. So, for example, there are 4 different colors of favors you can get. 4 of these spots are bonus victory points for those colors. So if during the game you picked up a lot of those colors, then you want to try and make connections from the middle to activate those bonus points. So there's 8 different ways you can get bonus points at the end of the game, but they're all triggered by, during the game, you connecting this puzzle together by connecting the middle out to the bonus point areas, and that activates those bonus points at the end of the game. There's another way to get points in the game, and that's through your own personal story. Now, the game has 5 characters, and each character is very different in how they play, the sort of things they can do, what they're good at, and a story. During the gameplay, which runs over 2 weeks, which is going to be 14 days, you're going to have a story that will appear, and based upon how you do during the game, that story can resolve in different ways. So I was playing a character who had a woman come into his life, and he was going to decide if he wanted to get back with her. And so during the first 6 days, I would accumulate 2 types of baggage, emotional baggage, good baggage and bad baggage. And if I accumulated more good baggage than bad baggage, then a good ending would occur to my story. If I occurred more bad baggage than good baggage, then a bad ending can come to my story. And that baggage would come through actions I could take, through other players giving me bad baggage. And so that was another thing you could do. If you got good endings to your story, then you got more victory points. So those are the primary ways to get points in the game. To figure out if your hunches are correct for the murder mystery, that's the biggest chunk of points. To gain favors, and to ensure that those favors are activated at the end of the game by connecting in the puzzle the middle to the favor spots. That makes those favors give you victory points, or to make your story come out appropriately. And so the game has a lot going on. There's a lot of different complex mechanics. Now, what did I think about the game? I did not like this game. I hated this game, actually. In fact, about 2.5 hours into the game, I was sitting there thinking I would rather be doing anything else. Well, not anything else, but I would really not want to be playing this game right now. I enjoyed about an hour of the game, and it ran for 4 hours. Here are the reasons why, and I guess I'll give you a few caveats. First, I won the game by a lot, so this isn't sour grapes because I lost. I got more than twice the points of anyone else. Second, I like storytelling games. I really like Tales of the Arabian Nights, which is a storytelling game. I like science fiction in games, so it's not a science fiction thing. I like Fantasy Flight games. I enjoy role-playing type games. And I enjoy Euro mechanics. I enjoy puzzles, which the whole connection thing is a puzzle, you know. And I enjoy everything that went into this game. But when it all came together, it really didn't work for me. So here are the reasons why. The game had some real breaks between this rich story that's in the game and the mechanics. It didn't make sense why you were doing what you were doing. They didn't connect into the story. It's like there was this rich story in the game waiting to be explored, but there were so many mechanics piled on it. It was kind of like looking at a piece of art that's been covered with food and jello and oil, and you're trying to scrape it away to see the little story back there. That's how it felt. So, for example, my personal story of my character is I was trying to decide, the old flame came back into my life, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to get back with her. And in order to get baggage or not lose baggage in part of this story, I had to uncover parts of this conspiracy, which is the little puzzle. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Why in the middle of a conversation, oh wait, hang on, I gotta go explore something, and that gives me good baggage. And so that's a case where the story and the mechanics to adjust that story were just different, two different things. Now, there was a murder mystery, and if you went to visit the scene of the crime, you'd become start player. There really wasn't any reason to do that. None of us ever visited the scene of the crime for the entire game. So, I guess it wasn't that important. And that was, again, part of what was going on. There were some other clever things in the game to move around on the board. The board has a bunch of locations, but they're not connected by a path or arrows or anything. Instead, you have a ruler, and that ruler represents your car, and however far that ruler can reach represents where you can go. So if you're at a bar here and you want to go to a place up here, if your ruler can reach there, you can go there. If not, then you have to go to some interim location and work your way there. Now, let's get to what really got me about this game, what really just annoyed me, and that are these cards. So each character has a deck of light cards and dark cards, and during the game you're going to draw the light cards, which will benefit you. You'll put the dark cards in the middle of the board, and you can draw other players' dark cards, which will hurt them. And the way you're going to play these cards is you're going to have a track, and the track has 5 stops from light to dark. And so what happens is if you play cards that help you, then you move your piece further down towards the dark side. So what will happen is once you've played several cards that help you, your piece is going to be sitting all the way over in the dark side. The only way to move it back is to play cards that hurt other people. When you play cards that hurt other people, then you move your token back towards the light side. So during the game, there's this seesaw that goes on where during your turn, you play cards that help you. During your opponent's turns, you play cards that hinder them. And you have to do that because that's how you get points to help yourself. You can't just play the game and be a nice guy. You have to be nice and then mean. And the problem is that these mean cards were very powerful at times. I don't know if you're familiar with the term of a take-that card game. A take-that card game is usually a lighter game where you've got cards like take that, take that, take that. And some of the take-that's can be pretty strong. They usually play for like 20 minutes. This was a 4-hour take-that card game. And I got exhausted of just attacking other people with these cards. Now, here's an example of what those cards did. You know those favors that you can collect throughout the game and try and get bonus points? I played a card on someone else that he had to discard them all. And I played it on him in the last turn of the game. Fun, huh? All that work you've done, gone, boop, sorry. During each turn of the game, you get 6 actions, and there were several cards out there that had you just end your turn. Sorry, you take a step into one place, someone plays a card, your turn's over, you lose all your actions. 1 out of your 14 turns gone. Stuff like that was really powerful, too powerful, extremely frustrating. And so I can handle that in a 20-minute game. I can handle that in a 45-minute game. But a 4-hour game, to have someone play, when your turns take a long time, and to have someone play something on you and says, nope, your turn's done, sorry. Very, very frustrating. So I did not like Android. I have no intention of playing it again. It's too bad because they did some interesting things. I like the story element. I like the story idea. I wish the mechanics of what you were doing better integrated into the story that was going on. And the take that card element was just far too strong for a game of this length and this complexity. If you're sitting down to play a game of it, just be aware that you're getting ready to be on a ride. You're going to be telling a story. You're going to have big ups and big downs during the game. Be aware things will happen that will really disrupt your plans. So just be prepared for that. Give the game credit for trying some interesting things. But for me, this is a game that I do not ever want to play again. And that's Scott Stuff for today. Bye-bye.